she was supposed to be like an Oprah Winfrey knockoff, right?
Okay.
So I said, oh my God, she has to have long fake hair. Let's just get the longest, piece we can find, just a lot of hair. So we went to Warner Brothers and we found this wonderful fall, this beautiful fall of hair. So anyway, everything is going well, and it's a scene in the lawyer's office with Erica Alexander's character and 2 other guest stars, and my character stands up in a huff and she said, "It just doesn't matter," and I flip around and my hair gets caught on the coat rack.
Yes,
and I truly cannot move.
Oh
so my
God.
character is like going in reverse forward. And Erica, to her credit, and no one broke character.
No one.
Erica walked up, gently removed my hair from the coat rack, and my character exits the scene. And they held for laughs for 5 minutes. And that is true.
I'm so happy I asked that.
Things that are worth your attention.
I'm just so grateful that you joined us.
Welcome to Media Path. I'm Louise Palanker.
I am Lisa Arch.
Today, we celebrate the creative path carved by Anne Marie Johnson. She is an actor-producer you may have seen in JAG, or in The Heat of the Night, or in Living Color, or her 105 additional IMDb credits. Her brilliant new film, The Addiction of Hope, is now appearing on Amazon, YouTube, Google Play, and Tubi. We have so much to discuss with her, but first, Lisa, what are you recommending for the class this week?
Well, Louise, I am recommending a stand-up special on YouTube.
We all need that.
It is 39 minutes. It is so good. This woman, Emily Catalano, her special is called Unspecial. She is my favorite comedian right now. I genuinely think she is absolutely spectacular. If you don't recognize her name, there she is. She has always got glasses and a beanie and braids. Not always, but almost always. She is so smart and clever and just pure funny. And here's the thing. I don't know about you, but I have a hard time laughing when I'm by myself.
Right.
Like if I'm around other people, there's something that makes you laugh.
Right.
But when I'm at home alone watching a stand-up special, I'm usually like, that was funny. Yeah, that's what I do. With her, I am laughing out loud the entire time, and there's a lot of me slapping my knee and going, oh my God, that is so smart. So I highly recommend Emily Catalano's special on YouTube called Unspecial. I know she has another one on there. Also, just subscribe to her on Instagram. It's Catalano_Emily. I don't know her. We're not friends. We should be. But I'm just saying I'm not doing this because I know her at all.
And remember when her, Angela had a crush on her brother, Jordan Catalano, in My So-Called Life.
Oh,
yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend. She is just brilliant, and I'm obsessed.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Have you also been watching Funny AF with Kevin Hart on Netflix?
I haven't yet.
Okay.
I am going to. Have you?
I started last night because my cousin Josh recommended it, and I
Okay.
couldn't believe I wasn't already aware of it because it's sort of like a modern
Last Comic
Standing, but it's really interesting because you get to see these people who haven't like cut through yet, but have all the stuff.
Yeah.
And they did a great job with casting because the first episode is like, oh my God, everyone is so good.
All right, I got to see it. I think maybe it's a little, I'm reticent to watch because I am kind of a baby in my stand-up career.
Yeah.
And like, I don't like watching things that might make me jealous.
Right.
Or
I want you to feel inspired.
Yeah. And it's funny. Like Emily made me feel so inspired. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I know. It's always tricky because we're humans and we're by nature, we're always like contrasting and comparing ourselves to
Correct.
others.
Like if I was a great singer, I'd probably have a hard time watching American Idol.
Well, which is why I don't. Except for that American Idol this season has become like a mega church and I can't. I'm sorry.
I can't watch that show anymore anyway.
So, and God bless all the Christians, but like I don't need church on my American Idol, and that's what it has become. So your thoughts, I'd love to hear them. So I'm going to recommend a book that I've read, which is also sometimes noted as like Christian fiction, but I just thought it was a beautiful story.
Now, when you say a book, I just want to know before you recommend.
Okay.
Did you open a book? Do you have a Kindle, or did you listen on Audible?
So you see this device right here before me?
do.
This is my world.
Okay.
My window into the world. So I use Apple Books, MacBooks or whatever they're called, and Kindle, because you can get Kindle on here as well.
Amazing.
So I read in the dark where everything disappears but the book. Oh. And my husband can be sleeping and I don't have to have a light on. And when you're reading books, you always have to like crack it and then position it differently when you get further down the page. You know, it's a negotiation between you, the book, and the lamp, you know? Yoga is required.
Right.
And so ever since you could get Kindle on your phone, I was reading 100 times as many books.
I'm so glad I asked you that question.
What about you? Do you read books?
I do read books. I like to hold a book.
Most people say that.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I think I need to, and I like to listen to books on drives.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. So I have a Kindle. I've used it. I'm not really into it yet.
Okay. Yeah, fair. All right. So I'm going to talk about the book that I read on my iPad. And I did use Kindle app for my iPad. And the book is called Theo of Golden. Theo is a quiet, engaging, interested 86-year-old gentleman who moves to a bustling little southern town called Golden, wanders into a coffee shop, becomes besotted by the portrait sketches that fill the walls. And like any mysterious elderly literary stranger would do, he begins purchasing the portraits and gifting them to their likenesses in one-on-one meetings he holds on a bench near a fountain in the heart of town, during which he infuses the recipient with praise, warmth, and belief in their intrinsic goodness. But who is Theo? Why is he in Golden? And what accounts for his portrait purchasing cash stash? All will be revealed, but not before you wrap your heart around the kindness and the deep appreciation of art and literature and rivers and wisdom and nature and the wonder of our shared humanity which courses through every page of this book. Word on the internet is that Alan J. Levi, an attorney, a judge, a singer, and a songwriter, self-published Theo of Golden, and as it picked up steam, the work found its publisher and became a bestseller.
That's awesome.
Alan Levi is the author of this book. It's a great piece of literature. It will fill your heart, and it's really good writing.
That sounds incredible.
It's just great writing, great storytelling. There's some formula involved where there are hints laid throughout the book as to who he is and why he's there. But like me, like an idiot, like I just, I bulldozed past those with no awareness that they had anything to do with what was actually going to be the case.
Wow, okay.
I should be if I read more mysteries, I would have been, let me highlight. Oh, and one thing you can do on your Kindle, on your iPad, is you can highlight, just by drag your finger, which is great for when we have guests who have written a book, because I highlight, and then right before the guest arrives, I go back and I form my questions around parts of the book. So
you're far smarter than I.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I
don't think.
I do.
I want to be able to go back to parts of books that... Another interesting thing, I'm not finishing any of my sentences today. Another interesting thing about Kindle is when you highlight... Kindle keeps track of everyone that highlighted the passage. And if it got a lot of highlights, it'll be underlined and you'll know that that's a passage that everyone liked.
Ooh.
It's so interesting.
That is really cool,
There's a lot of advantages to reading on a device. But books. I love books
too.
All right. So are we ready to introduce our wonderful guest?
No, I want to ask. Oh, is she here? I wanted to pitch to you that we... ask our audience if they have any questions for us.
Okay.
And if you do, and I want to know how you feel about this, and if they do, they can comment on our videos, or maybe we could set up an email or whatever. But for now, they can comment on our videos and ask us a question, and we can answer them during our recommendation portion of the show.
Yeah, that's an excellent idea. Or you could stop by their home and answer their question.
We could do that
on
too.
your way in.
Yeah.
And now our guest. Anne-Marie Johnson is an American actress and impressionist, best known for her roles as Lynn Williams on Hill Street Blues, Aileen Lewis on Double Trouble, and Raj's wife Nadine on What's Happening Now. She played Althea Tibbs on In the Heat of the Night, Alicia Barnett on Melrose Place, Sharon Upton Farley on Girlfriends, Liz Shelton on Tyler Perry's House of Payne, and Dr. Patel on Days of Our Lives. She was also in Living Color. And today's episode of Media Path Podcast, please welcome Anne-Marie Johnson.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you both?
We are excellent.
We are excellent.
So you are an LA kid.
Wonderful.
You went to John Marshall
Yes.
High School and UCLA. Was entertainment always the dream?
I believe so. I think my parents were originally very concerned about me as a toddler because I was very, very quiet.
Oh.
And but then that ended. And and I think by kindergarten I knew exactly what I wanted to do. And fortunately I had
Wait, by kindergarten?
yeah, I knew exactly what I wanted to do.
How? Like, how did you even know in kindergarten that existed as something you could do?
Well, because I knew I liked to work with others, which always is a good sign. I became very chatty and communicative in kindergarten, and I was not shy.
Hmm.
So I did a lot of play acting and, just not living in an imaginary world. That wasn't necessary. I, went to public school. That was enough of a experience. Not living
In LA, no
imaginary-
less.
And my mother was a retired school teacher. My father was an active police officer. I was the youngest of four. So there was a lot going on. I was, had my buddies on the street playing. And so I just had a really normal, well, as much as one can be normal and person of color in LA in the 60s, but I had a really nice, loving upbringing. And there was no question from my parents about, really, what do you want to do? They just encouraged everything. And it was a requirement for all of us to play a classical instrument. So I started that in elementary school. So it was just a natural progression of being in the arts.
What was your instrument of choice?
Violin.
Ooh. And
And it wasn't a choice.
Oh, so wait, you not only had to play a classical instrument, but it was thrust upon you?
And thank goodness it was.
Oh,
because
wow.
It was a nice pairing. I played in classical orchestras up until college, and then obviously you can't do everything because I had to concentrate on theater arts.
Wow.
I went to Cal State Los Angeles first because I applied to UCLA, which my brothers went to UCLA. Both my brothers went to UCLA. My great aunt was one of the first African-American women to graduate from UCLA. Wow. My mom, my dad. So UCLA, being a Bruin, was a requirement. But back then, they had satisfied their minority quota. So I was not accepted. So I went to Cal State LA, which was fabulous. I actually loved Cal. What a wonderful experience Cal State was, and I'm sure still is. And then when the quotas opened up, I went to UCLA in my second year. So
And you were always appearing in productions throughout high school and throughout college?
always. Yes, always. And then went right into Equity Waiver Theater when I graduated from college, and was discovered doing an equity waiver play by an agency, a talent agency, and have only really done this my whole life, 43 years in the union.
That's incredible. So your first TV appearance was on the game show Card Sharks. Were game shows a good entry-level doorway for young performers?
Fabulous.
Tell me how it
You were
worked.
allowed to do, I forget, there was a certain number you were allowed to do at that time. And it trained you into the comfort of being on a soundstage, completely alien to the average theater arts student, because you were all about the theater and never had the opportunity of being on a live studio with a live audience, with multi-cameras, with red lights going on and off, and the crew, how many people it takes to make a half hour anything. So and performing and being comfortable in front of a multi-camera situation, and seeing that there's a director and that there's a technical director, and that it was wonderful training, actual training. So when I started working in multi-camera in sitcom it wasn't a shock because I had spent time doing game shows. So it was really wonderful.
I have never, ever heard an actor say that before. And that the thought process behind it is so brilliant.
It was a lot of work in my noggin. But
oh my God.
It worked out perfectly. I didn't care if I won or lost. It was just smelling, feeling, being able to concentrate with 200 people juggling, plates in the air. And it really paid off.
And I did something similar. I didn't want to be an actor. I wanted to work in entertainment, but the only thing I knew how to do was answer an ad. And I went in, and it was at the KTLA studios.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I was on a show called Face the Music.
I remember Face the Music.
Yeah, I'm good with music. So I went on the show and started asking the director, are there any jobs on your show? Are there any jobs on this? I was very plucky, and he got me an interview for Tony Tennille, which
Oh my God,
Yes!
Captain and Tennille, Tony Tennille?
My first concert ever was Captain and Tennille. I'm not joking. In Vegas.
Oh my
when I
God,
was
you are
like
such a nerd.
6,
That's
I know.
Brilliant. So I didn't type fast enough to get that job, but I eventually got a job as a page across the street at Metro Media Square. So
Well, that's fabulous. Yeah.
the same thing for me. It was just like, let me see what this is. And at first it's overwhelming, all of the people. But for someone like me who wanted to enter, when I saw all these people working and all the jobs required, I was like, I can do this.
Wow.
It really is. A lot of people don't even think about it. They think, poof, I'm going to be a television star, or poof, I'm going to be in films. And some are. But it's much more complicated than that. It's the ease of being around so many people with responsibilities. It's the ease of being able to feel at home in a very chaotic atmosphere.
Yes.
There's always movement, even when they ring the bell and you're supposed to be quiet.
Mm-hmm.
There is always movement on a set. And not that I really wanted to be a page, because in New York, it was a different experience. Being a page in New York was really an experience. In LA, a little different. But what I did do was I became a tour guide at Universal Studios.
You did.
I am so in
Yeah.
love with all of this. So the walking around tour guide or the tram tour
The
guide?
tram. That was much more glamorous to be
Yes.
the tram tour guide.
Oh, you had
And,
lines.
I did that. I was fired, but needless to say,
We
I
need that story.
Please.
But it was you were dressed by Edith Head, and because I knew all the films of the 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s, I said Edith Head. So all of our uniforms were designed by Edith Head.
I never knew
back
that.
I
then,
never knew that
Wow.
either.
Edith Head was the designer of the original uniform. So, and you're in a tram, and it was wonderful. But I got fired because you were to memorize a very thick book of information.
Yes.
Right. And so you do it. I don't know how many tours you have each day, but by your last tour, you're just, trying to add some spark to many tourists from, Austria who don't understand a word you're saying, right? So you have to be very animated. And so we went by. Back then, you would go by the stars of stars, their dressing rooms. The dressing rooms would still have the labels on it. So we went by Raymond Burr's dressing room, and I
Okay.
was a huge fan
Yeah.
of Ironside and
Perry
Perry
Mason,
Mason, the
yeah.
original Perry Mason on television. So for the heck of it, I just said, "Oh my God, there's Raymond Burr, and he's walking." and not in a wheelchair for Ironside. And unbeknownst to me, there was an auditor on the tram.
Oh, come on. That's a
and they
cute
called me into the Black Tower and they fired me.
No.
I'm sorry, but you were showing personality, and that's a cute remark.
You're not supposed to have personality
Oh, my
working.
goodness.
You're supposed to be plucky and wonderful, but you're supposed to stick to the script. Anyway, so I was fired. But it was the best thing that happened to me because I think 3 4 years later, whenever I started doing Double Trouble, which was shot on the Universal lot,
Oh, okay.
Perfect.
there was a tram going by with some former tour guides of mine. And I walked out of my dressing room and I went, hi.
That is
And it was just
a
wonderful.
full circle moment.
Isn't that truly the full
Yes.
circle?
Oh, I love that so
Yeah.
much.
It was fun.
That's amazing. I also think that just as a human, to have as many experiences as possible along the way of the craft that you're investing yourself into, and to understand better the experiences of everybody that's helping
Yes.
you create what it is that you're creating is just, I don't know, it's just added value to your life.
I think so. And it puts things in perspective.
Yeah.
It's such a stupid business. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
when we're seeing the sausage being made and the amount of money that's wasted and the amount of lack of empathy and humanity and just people very comfortable to lie and not even be concerned that they're lying to you, knowing that everyone's lying. It really is a horrible business if you don't keep it in perspective. And so it was really important for me to spend more time with crew than with cast.
Oh, interesting.
Because it was
Yes.
just like, you know, not that cast have real lives too, real burdens and obligations and familial turmoil, even though you're working and you're supposed to fake it until you make it, and you know. But crew, a lot of people don't understand below the line because they don't spend enough time with crew. And it's a completely different population, a completely different mindset, and more reflective of the American experience.
Yeah, it's
And
almost blue collar versus
it
white
is blue
collar
collar
for sure.
It is definitely blue
Yes.
collar. And it's very conservative. A lot of people think Hollywood is liberal. No, not when you spend time with crew.
Correct.
It's a completely different political bent. And I just thought it was really important to kind of try to understand and see through other people's eyes. And then when I became part of the political makeup of the Screen Actors Guild, that really came in handy when we were negotiating and being quite sensitive of IATSE and Teamsters and the other unions.
I would love to ask you about that since you brought it up. You were the first SAG vice president, correct? And you served under 3 different presidents.
I think 4
Oh,
in a weird
4.
way. Yeah.
Okay. And it's so funny because I did want to ask you what drew you to be part of the politics of Hollywood. And I mean, you kind of just answered that, but I just wondered because I know you had a lot to do with DEI, and I would just love to hear your take on that, and also why you left, because I know you made the choice to leave at a certain point. I believe because you saw that unions were starting to fade, but I would just love to hear a little bit of that from you.
I was always very involved, even as a child, with politics because my parents were very active in the civil rights actions in Southern California, with my father being a police officer, my mother being a retired teacher. So I was always engaged with union. I knew what union was since both parents were in unions. I understood the Black experience in this country with regard to unions, because without unions, the African-American community would have never reached a middle-class existence. So unionism was always really important to me. So I believe it was 1994, I was asked to participate in a pro-affirmative action initiative to protect affirmative action in the state of California. So I traveled around and I spoke on behalf of affirmative action. And then a senior member at the Screen Actors Guild caught what I was talking about and invited me to be a part of our EEOC at that time, we had an a very strong EEOC committee within the Screen Actors Guild, and all we did was concentrate on the 4 protected groups: people of color, stunt performers of color, performers with a disability, and women of a particular age. That's what we concentrated on. So in my, almost 25 years of inside union involvement, I was trained in affirmative action. So when we negotiated our contracts, my specialty was affirmative action and how we could better the working wages and working conditions for women and others who are identified as minorities in our industry. So that's how I got involved, because there was a need for it. And women of a particular age and others were facing difficulties that are younger and white counterparts and men, regardless of race, they were never facing these difficulties. And it was really important for me to give back to an industry that provided me an incredible middle-class existence with health insurance and a pension. So that's why I got involved, because I thought being in the union to protect those who didn't have the voice yet, to protect themselves through our contracts, was imperative. It was a calling.
Yeah.
To me, I felt like it was a calling.
Wow.
Now, when you were hired on In Living Color, it was the last season. And so you were entering sort of like a schoolroom where everybody had, their lunch table. How did you go about? Were you nervous? What would the first day, how did that feel?
Well, I was comforted because I left in the heat of the night before my contract was up, because there were some concerns there. And that was very depressing for me, because I had done 118, hours of work on that show and lived in the South for 6 seasons. And it was a tough decision to make, and it was a dangerous career move to make. And when I finally got back to LA with all of my boxes and I had to start my life all over again back in LA, Tommy Davidson called me. He didn't even know that I had left. And he said, "Are you still on that Southern show?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Listen, do you want to have some fun?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" And he said, "Come join us on In Living Color." And that was it.
Oh my God.
It was Tommy Davidson who got me that job. And I had worked with David Allen Greer. I had worked with Tommy, and I did a movie together. I had worked with Kim. I had known the Wayans. Mm-hmm. So it was a very nice transition from doing a very heavy legal show, police show, procedural, to this high risk sketch comedy show. And
how did they know you could be funny?
Comedian.
Okay.
So it was, it was an act. It was people forget, because I'd done In the Heat of the Night and other hour-long series shows. All I did was comedy for years. So it was really a nice homecoming.
That's interesting that both you and Carol O'Connor were comedic performers, but range is what it is. It's like, okay, what's required? I can do this. How did you?
Right. And it really, like you all know, comedy and tragedy, there's very little difference except for timing.
Sure. No, that's really, so true. You got to play it real. Yeah. But I have a question about the set of In Living Color as an alumnus of a sketch comedy show.
Right. Lisa was on Mad TV.
And that was a very difficult time for me. And we all had to come up with our own characters and all of that. Was it the same for you, or did the Wayans write? No, so you had to do that.
The Wayans had left. What happened? There was a controversy with the Wayans and Fox.
Okay.
And so I walk in and they walk out.
Oh,
and so,
wow.
I'm with a new crop of producers without the Wayans.
Wow.
And it was really quite interesting. But yes, very similar to Mad TV. It was really one of the saddest points of my career to do In Living Color, even though it was funny and what people saw was funny and goofy and free-flowing. It was really a very, very difficult period of my career too.
I feel you.
And so much sexism And as anyone, any alumni from Saturday Night
SNL.
Live would tell you, there is no difference. Women at that time, and I'm sure it's very different now, were treated differently than our male counterparts in sketch comedy. It was completely male dominated, and you had to fight to get airtime. And yeah, I came up with characters, and that was wonderful. And listen, no one has to have like a telethon for me. It was I'm okay, I'm fine, but it was really hard.
Yeah.
Really hard.
Yeah.
And it was so hard that I don't even remember the episodes. People say, "Oh my God, we loved you in Mary Tyler Moe." And it was so hard, I don't remember doing it.
You've suppressed a lot of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ditto.
Really?
Yes, my husband was a PA on the show. That's how we met. And he will say, "Well, remember when we shot that da 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 da?" And I'm like, I have absolutely no recollection. Same, Anne-Marie.
Yeah.
That is so, and I never considered that was a trauma response.
I think
It
so.
was trauma.
I think
Before
so.
trauma was in vogue.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it's sort of like not remembering the pain of childbirth.
Yes.
I think.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Wow.
So you did I'm Gonna Get You, Sucka before that then? Okay.
I did I'm Gonna Get You, Sucka. We shot I'm Gonna Get You. Well, listen, I did Hollywood Shuffle before, and that's the same crew.
Okay, right.
So Hollywood Shuffle was done and was a great big hit. And then came, I got a phone call from Keenen, and he said, "I want you to read a script." And I said, "Oh, great." And so he sent me the script, and I think I was doing in the heat of the night at the time, but it was during my hiatus.
Right.
So he sends me a script, and I'm assuming he wants me to audition for his girlfriend, the character of his girlfriend. And I went, "Ooh, this is wonderful." And it's, "Oh, what a great role. Oh my God, I'm going to be number 2 on the call sheet. This has never happened to me before. This is fabulous." And so he calls me and he says, "What do you think?" And I said, "I'm in. This is wonderful." And he goes, "Okay, so you're okay with playing Cherry, the prostitute."
Oh,
I went, "What?"
my God.
Cherry? I don't play a prostitute. I've spent my whole career fighting against playing these negative characters and blah, 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 blah. He said, "Shut the F up. Get off your high horse. Reread the script and tell me what." So I reluctantly said, "Yes, I'll play her." One of the best, most iconic bits I've ever done in my career.
Anne-Marie, you are so funny.
I thank Keenen so much for knocking me off of my pretentious bullshit, attitude at that time. And he was right. And it was one of the greatest experiences ever to have a role like that.
I love it.
Can we have a little detail on how you pulled that off?
Literally.
Literally.
Well, he said, yeah, how did I pull that off? With a lot of technical help. That's how I pulled it off. So he said there's going to be no limits on this gag. And I said, "Are you sure?" He said, "Yeah." So they sent me to get contact lens fittings. I was fitted for a bald cap. So it was very technical, and you could only do it in so many takes, right? And we got it down probably in 3 takes. And I said, "Are you sure this isn't too big?" No such thing as too big.
But were you laughing? How did you keep from...
Could not. I'll tell you, we were... Keenen is such a lovely soul, and such a... I'm sorry he and I haven't worked since then, basically, together, but he is such a lovely soul, and we had such a good time. But there was a scene before that when Cherry the prostitute is introduced in this bar.
Yes.
She's in a bar, and she's with Jim Brown, and she's sitting around a table. And she's supposed to do something very provocative. So I said, well, I'm not provocative at all. That's not who I am. So what would Sherry do? What trick do I have? And so I can roll my tongue. And so I didn't really tell them I was going to do it. And so when the camera goes to me and it's my close-up, I start rolling my tongue. And we had to break for a minute because the laughter was just so I think we laughed more then than we did doing the pulling off of the leg. But it was just a pleasure. It was just, one of those things that worked out.
Thanks for coming along down the media path, and however you have found your way to us, we would love for you to like and subscribe and give us a nice review because as creators, it is our appointed duty to ask you to do that. You may also want to find us on Instagram and Blue Sky where we are at Media Path Pod, and on Facebook where our show page is Media Path Podcast and our Facebook group is Media Path with Fritz and Wheezy Podcast Community. If you are listening to our show, we are also a video podcast on YouTube at Media Path Podcast. You can write to us at mediapathpodcast@gmail.com. My TikTok is Louise Palanker, where I post behind-the-scenes peeks and clips from the show. And Fritz's TikTok is Fritz Coleman Comedy. He posts stand-up clips and popular dance crazes. Our website is MediaPathPodcast.com. There you can binge episodes and our spicy newsletter. Thank you so much. On with the rest of the show. All right, well, we're going to talk about your film, but I want to make sure that we have time for our little game called IMDb Roulette. If you're game for a game.
I'm game.
We spin the wheel and we stop wherever I have selected. So IMDb Roulette, number 1. So I'm going to say the name of one of your credits and then you tell us what you remember about the experience.
Oh wow.
Number
okay.
1, High School USA, you play Beth Franklin.
Yes. And one of the cast members was so mean to me.
Oh, no.
Because I replaced another actor who was supposed to be, who did maybe a previous movie version of it, but something didn't work out. And so I was brought in. And that actress, who will remain nameless, was horrible to me. It was
But you
horrible.
said actress, so we've narrowed it down to a female.
It's an actress.
What does it rhyme with?
That's hilarious.
Let's just say itch, and we'll just leave it at that.
Perfect.
Interesting. Okay. All right. But it had a lot of child stars from the 60s. Was that the franchise?
Yes, it did.
So who did you get to meet that was like, oh my gosh?
Remember what we talked about with Mad TV and In Living Color?
Right.
I don't remember anything but the horrible treatment I got.
Yeah. Well, especially I guess especially if you are someone like yourself who clearly loves this business and loves being on set and has probably had mostly positive experiences.
Yes.
The bad ones really feel bad.
Right. It's like
they really feel bad.
They really do. It's like in stand-up comedy where you hear about the performer will look out and only notice the one person who isn't laughing.
That's right. That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, number 2.
Number 2, Diff'rent Strokes. You played
Loved
Denise.
It.
Oh, give
Loved
us a
it.
story if you have one.
Now, I may have been there. I may have been there because, as I said,
you probably were.
I was a page.
I love it.
That year. Go ahead.
The whole cast and crew, wonderful. Everyone from soup to nuts, loved it. Absolutely loved it.
And you played Denise.
Nothing bad to say.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Oh yeah.
Well, no, we want happy stories too.
No, we
That was
want
happy, very happy. Everyone was lovely. Todd, I knew Todd's mom, Betty Bridges.
Love her.
Actually did a play, an equity waiver play that she directed after that. But just wonderful, just a wonderful experience.
So you played Denise. Do you remember who she was in the episode?
I was a narc.
You were a narc.
I was a narc, which is funny because my father was a police officer. So it was a comfortable role for me to do because I was a cop's kid. So, yeah, I think she played she was a narc trying to break up a little drug problem in the school.
You go. All right. We got to keep Willis and Arnold safe. That's
Yes.
Yeah.
So-
And the comedy ensued.
and the
Yeah,
comedy
right.
ensued. Yes. Okay.
Oh, wait. So it wasn't a very special Diff'rent Strokes.
You know what? It kind of was without
was.
them saying a very special. But it
just
was
say
a very
just say no
special.
years. I'm thinking.
Just say no. That's
Right.
correct.
Yeah.
I miss very special episodes of
So do
TV
I.
because you would still hear the theme song, but just a little slower.
Softer.
It was a little slower, a little more minor
in a
notes
minor
in
key.
it.
In a minor key. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So brace yourself. Okay, number 3, Hill Street Blues. You played Lynn Williams.
Loved it. Loved Michael. Loved the whole experience. But funny story. So I don't know. I think I did maybe 5 episodes. So the first episode was going to be the premiere for this character. So I throw a party at I was still living at home with my parents. So I threw this wonderful party, invited all of my close friends to watch the episode.
Yeah.
And cooked all day. It was just going to be a blowout party. It was going to be fabulous. And about 10 minutes before the episode was begin, it was breaking news that Jessica with the baboon heart died, and everything was preempted. That episode never saw it.
Oh,
and all those people were in my house. So valuable lesson I learned. I never told anyone about any premiering episode after that. I just didn't want to jinx anything.
May she rest in peace. But my goodness, the timing,
baboon
Jessica. The timing.
That is a wild story.
Yeah. So.
Holy, did you all at least still eat and have a good time?
Oh, had to.
Oh, good.
Had
Okay.
to. But I was crying.
Oh,
I mean, it was just so embarrassing.
I cannot imagine.
Yeah.
Okay, you're next.
Okay, I'm going to admit something before I say the name of this show, which is that I have never seen an episode of this show.
Okay.
So maybe I haven't either.
Yeah.
Maybe not even my episode.
I
What is it?
wonder. Melrose Place.
Oh, Melrose. Well, that was a big deal back then.
It was.
I know, and I somehow completely avoided it.
That
we
was
were
a
working.
real.
That was like
a real get.
we
Yeah,
worked together, and we were like always at work. That was when before you had your own VCR and stuff.
Yeah,
maybe
you
that
weren't
was why.
recording stuff.
Right,
Yeah.
that's true. Okay, so tell us.
It was a big deal to work for to work for any of his shows, and
Spelling.
it was I had a good time actually. I was treated quite well, and then my manager at the time, I think I forgot how many episodes, but now it's going on to the next season, and they were wondering if this character on Melrose Place was going to come back because they rarely had Black women on Melrose Place. It was me, Jasmine Guy, and I think one other African American who had ever done Melrose Place. And so my manager at the time had to break the news to me that my character was going to be killed off because the writers just couldn't figure out how to write for a Black person.
Did they give you a baboon heart?
Wait,
What
you
happened?
actually got the news in that way. They no longer know how to write for a Black person.
That's ridiculous.
Yep.
Holy-
Now, they
you
said
hire
they
Black
couldn't figure out.
writers.
They couldn't figure out a storyline for a Black person. So what they did was to make sure that my character never came back, she was driving her car at night on a big ol' ass cell phone, drops the cell phone on the ground, looks down to pick it up, and is hit by a semi truck and just explosion.
All right. Well, death by giant cell phone is a very,
Right?
I would have loved for you to say on the cell phone before it fell, by the way, I just found out that the show I work for doesn't know how to write for Black people.
Ooh, as the car
As
is
the
like
car is-
heading off.
Yes.
That
I should have been on the phone. I should have been on the phone saying, "Hey, Spike, any good storylines for a Black actor on a white show?" And then kaboom!
Yes, exactly.
That would have been epic.
That would have been.
Well, that's what we're going to put in our Mad Magazine version of Melrose.
Yes.
All
Yeah,
right.
that's perfect.
This is the best TV show name ever. I don't think anyone's ever going to top it. That's So Raven.
Okay, That's So Raven was top 3 in enjoyable work.
Oh, wonderful.
Raven Simone is the nicest, most talented comedian I've ever had the honor to work with.
That's lovely.
It was fabulous from all aspects, from the producer, production, set, crew, hair and makeup, cast. It was such a joy. And then she had me back on the reboot, and it was just as wonderful. She just, everything about it was one of the most enjoyable jobs I can remember.
She's just a
top
bright
3.
light.
That's beautiful.
It just made every crappy thing about, for example, like Mad About You. It just erased that from my memory.
Everyone has, we do IMDb roulette. Everyone has not good, Mad About You. Sometimes people just say,
Horrible.
sometimes people just look at me and go, next.
Oh, no.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Oh,
Horrible.
no.
All right. So detail. Can you give us
Horrible.
any detail as to why?
It would be easier to tell you why it was enjoyable. It was horrible.
Wow.
It was,
How was
absolutely
catering?
horrible. The director was horrible.
Oh,
mean,
my
rude,
God.
dismissive. Helen was horrible. The nicest person was Paul Reiser
Sure.
because I think he felt he had empathy with how cold and dismissive his set was.
Oh,
He is a good person.
No, I've heard
Yeah.
that about Helen many, 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 many times.
Horrible.
Oh, my
goodness.
God.
That's so sad to hear.
But he really, you could tell he had compassion. It started out bad because at the table read, there was this young actor who really just had a couple of lines. I mean, it was like he was a pizza deliverer or something like that. And Mel Brooks insulted him during the table read, took his lines away, and fired him. Basically, fired him at the table read. And this poor actor was crying. And I walked him to his car, and I said, "This will but be a memory."
Bless you.
Wow.
Horrible. And then they said, "Well, we think the character could be." I said, "You're not going to see me back." It was horrible.
Oh, my
my
God.
gosh.
Yeah.
That's
That's
hateful.
abusive.
All right, I'm going to do something different than what you have on here. Is that okay?
Sure, go for it.
Because you mentioned Raven Simone. Raven Simone worked with Tracy Ellis Ross, and you worked with Tracy Ellis Ross on Girlfriends. So I'm praying to God that you loved that set.
Well, it's good that we believe that there's a God.
Okay.
So let's just start it. No, it was wonderful. I had a great
good.
time. Wonderful, wonderful blast. I loved Sharon Upton Farley. She was one of the most complicatedly funny characters I've ever played in a multi-camera setting. The whole cast and crew was terrific. Yes, was there some tension every once in a while? Yeah, you're on a high pressure sitcom with a lot of people. I mean, that was a strong cast of women and one man.
Yeah.
And but it was I loved Sharon Upton Farley. I loved the job.
Oh, that's great. Can I ask one more question?
Of
and then we're going to
course.
go on to your movie.
Well, no, because I'm going to do my last.
All
I'm
right.
going to do number 8 just because I want
Don't
to hear
fight over me.
Okay. But
gonna
let
fight
me
over
just
it.
ask this question about Girlfriends. There's a scene that's all over the internet that everybody says was a mistake and a blooper, but I have the sense that it was on purpose. So I'm going to ask you about it. There's a scene where you walk out of your office or an office and you say, "It doesn't matter how old I am."
No, that wasn't wasn't Girlfriends. That was
Oh.
Living Single. And that
Oh.
will go in my obituary. That was all improv.
It
What
was
happened
not.
was yes.
Oh my God.
So what happened was I chose for my character, she was supposed to be like an Oprah Winfrey knockoff, right?
Okay.
So I said, "Oh my God, she has to have long fake hair. Let's just get the longest, piece we can find, just a lot of hair." So we went to Warner Brothers and we found this wonderful fall, this beautiful fall of hair.
Yes.
So anyway, everything is going well, and it's a scene in the lawyer's office with Erica Alexander's character and 2 other guest stars, and my character stands up in a huff and she said, "It just doesn't matter," and I flip around and my hair gets caught on the coat rack.
Yes.
And I truly cannot move.
Oh
so
my
my
God.
character is like going, in reverse
Yes.
forward. And Erica, to her credit, and no one broke character.
No one.
Erica walked up, gently removed my hair from the coat rack, and my character exits the scene. And they held for laughs for 5 minutes. And that is true.
I'm so happy I asked that. I'm sorry I got the show wrong, but holy cow, that's the best.
It's a true story. I think I still have it on my comedy reel just for shits and giggles because it truly was. It in that world of living single, that's an iconic moment.
And you have to know that Oprah has seen that.
Probably. I think everyone has seen it.
She has seen that, yeah. All right, so let's end with How to Get Away with Murder, just because I want to hear about the cast.
Indifferent.
Oh.
It was the end of their series. It's always tough to work on a show where the series is ending, right? They were winding down. Never worked with Viola because my character was dealing with other characters on the set. It was challenging. I wouldn't rank it as one of my most enjoyable, but what made it fabulous was I got to share a table at the wrap party with Cecily Tyson.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because she was, I think she played Viola's mother
Yes.
on the show. So
What did you
that
two talk
was-
about?
You know, we just talked about the evolution of Black women in the business.
Fascinating.
So that was wonderful. And then cut to, I do an Ava DuVernay a limited series, and there she is. So it worked out great.
Oh, my goodness. That's extraordinary.
Yeah, but I would have loved to have spent time with Viola Davis, but it just didn't work out.
Okay.
So I missed that opportunity because I know that would have been wonderful. But it was a challenging job because people were just ready to go. They weren't in it to win it. You know, they were just packing up their dressing rooms.
Right, understood. All right, we're going to talk about The Addiction of Hope. Tell us how this project came to be. The writing is quite stunning and subtle and beautiful, and I want to talk to you about it. So tell us how it came to be.
Well, very proud. It's probably the best work I've ever done in my career.
Wow.
It's a hard-hitting, honest depiction on what happens to women when they hit a particular age and the industry, stamps an expiration date on our foreheads. So written by and directed by Martin Gottlieb, who had a really wonderful insight in what it is to be a woman over a particular age and a woman of color, because he's my husband.
Yeah.
So he wrote the script.
That's adorable.
And directed the movie, and it was without a doubt the most enjoyable time I've ever had in this business.
What's interesting to me, and I'm sure to Lisa, is that we're seeing that you're a very different person than the woman you play in the film.
Yeah, I'm completely different than Joe Stock, who I play, but I understand Joe. I've lived what Joe has experienced. Any person who sees this film or will be seeing this film will relate. Just because Joe is an actress and a woman of color, the theme of it, of being made irrelevant and being pushed out and being categorized as past your date, we're all living it. Anyone over the age of 40 is living it. And so
whether
it's a
whether
very
you're in
relatable.
this business or another one is what you're saying.
It doesn't matter what business do. In fact, our screenings, we traveled the country with this film, and men, women, it doesn't matter, would come up to us and say, this is happening to me now, and I'm a white male working in IT. So it was we did not expect the response. It's really just been overwhelmingly positive.
So it's quite universal. And what I loved about the writing was that it's so full of the snipey little barbs that humans toss, which send little hurtful ripples that bounce and then return to us. And it's just full of those moments where you're like, wow.
Especially between the sisters.
The sisters and then her sons. And, so it's like, it's generational and, it's systemic. And David's character sort of tries to interrupt those ripples.
Yes, he is the, and that's my husband. That's
right.
Right. That he is the voice of reason, of empathy, of let's just all take a deep breath and find a better path to. It's really a film about you making the decision of pivoting, of finding joy where maybe you never thought you could find joy, of what is really important to your life, family or a struggling career. It's about women choosing not to have a child. It's about, living in this world as a single woman. It's really, it has so many messages in it that it's a deep, complicated thinking person's film.
Yes.
And we're very fortunate that it's been received quite well.
I want you to know, especially based on what you just said, that Louise and I spoke about it yesterday, and her opinions of it were so focused on the Barbs and the family relationships and the lineage of trauma. And my focus in watching the movie was about being an aging woman in the industry.
Yes.
And, so many things hit me, like being up against men.
Yes.
Yes, for the same role, which, the last 20 years of my career have literally been
Yes.
ages 30 to 65, can be
Correct.
male or female, like all
That's
of that.
right.
Yes.
Open to ethnicity,
Correct.
blah, blah, blah.
All of that. So,
Yeah.
and watching you set up for your at-home auditions on Zoom and watching you be dismissed and all of that. So you are so right that something in this film will affect everyone for one reason or another.
And it was interesting because we were worried, oh my gosh, are Gen Z's going to understand, or millennial? We've had so many adult children who are witnessing their parents going through this, specifically their mothers, who all they've known is their mother with a wonderful career, working outside of the house, and just being let go for no other reason but their age.
Yep.
Wow.
And that's okay. If ageism is still the okay-ism. In fact, I find it reprehensible that you can have products advertised on television called anti-aging products.
Yes.
It makes no sense, and everyone seems to be okay with it. But what we're doing is we're promulgating a message of anti-you if you don't look 25.
Right. Even the
Absolutely.
way that we compliment each other socially is like to say, if someone says their age, and we just say, oh, you look.
Oh, you look great for
Well, or
dot, dot,
wow, if someone says I'm 80, like, oh, you look 60. That's the first thing we like. The compliment is youth. Youth is the compliment.
It's horrible. Well, when we do interviews, and the first thing they do when I'm interviewed and it's in print, Anne Marie Johnson, my age.
Of
What does
course.
that have to do with anything?
Yes. Yeah.
It's the way we sort of like I see it as sort of dogs sniff each other.
Yes.
Like, what am I dealing with here?
I would much rather someone smell my ass than expose my age.
That's awesome. Oh my God.
I'm sure there's a chat group that could arrange for that. There's a subset of Tinder we can set that up.
That is good.
We can put some filters in place and
Yeah, but that's right.
So anyone can watch this film, The Addiction of
Yeah.
Health.
Yes, it's on all social media. Excuse me, sorry. It's
Streaming.
on all digital platforms except for Netflix. So you can find it on Amazon, Apple, Tubi. Yeah, I mean, it's everywhere.
And people should know that this was a project of passion for you and your husband, and and that's a beautiful thing.
And we have a terrific cast: Clancy Brown and Erica Alexander and Alan Rosenberg and Matthew Moy and Sherry Belafonte. I mean, it's just
so cool.
I'm so proud of it.
Wow,
Yeah.
congratulations.
phenomenal. Thank you so much. So we know our time with you is limited because you're promoting your beautiful film. So we want to thank our guest, Anne Marie Johnson. Our team includes producer Dina Friedman, John Maddox, Mason Brown, Raf Rusak, Jordan Reyes, Haley Freight, and you. Our theme music is by me and John Maddox. I am Louise Planker, here with Lisa Arch and Anne-Marie Johnson. Be well and wise, take good care of each other, and we will see you along the media path.
Wow, thank you so much.
I had a blast.